Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding the massive shifts that are totally reshaping the digital media landscape. We're going to trace this really fascinating journey from traditional marketing right through the booming creator economies and finally look ahead to the dawn of AI. If you've ever wondered how the content you consume every single day is changing behind the scenes, well, you're in exactly the right place.
So, who really controls the media we consume today? It's a pretty provocative question, right? Because the answer has shifted dramatically over the past century. It used to be just a handful of gatekeepers, but today, the lines between creator, consumer, and even the algorithm itself are totally blurred.
To make sense of this landscape, here's our roadmap. We're going to cover the 3 content paradigms, the evolution of content marketing, content strategy for brands, the creator monetization playbook, and finally, what happens when UGC meets TV. Let's jump in.
Section 1. The 3 content paradigms. Let's kick things off with a rapid-fire look at the core forces driving modern media right now.
First up, we've got PGC, or professionally generated content. Think traditional television networks, major film studios, and those expertly produced magazines. Now, PGC guarantees professional quality, sure, but it comes with massive production costs and, historically, it leaves you and me, the audience, as just passive bystanders. We watch, we absorb, but we don't participate. But then came the Web 2.0 revolution, and UGC, user-generated content, flipped that script completely. It turned passive viewers into active creators. This is your YouTube, your social media, your blogs. The priority shifted away from pristine production value to raw authenticity and to sheer volume. It's highly interactive, it's practically free to produce, and it entirely decentralized media control. And finally, we're now entering the era of AIGC, AI-generated content. Here, tools like ErnieBot and other advanced language and visual models are optimizing content creation with just unprecedented speed. AI is stepping in to automate production, bringing this extreme efficiency to the table. We're basically moving from humans creating content to humans directing machines to create content. Wild, right?
Section 2. Evolution of content marketing. Now, while AI feels incredibly new and futuristic, the core strategy behind all this content actually dates back centuries.
Even though the internet accelerated things, using valuable content to build audience loyalty is literally a strategy older than the light bulb. Check out this history. Benjamin Franklin published Poor Richard's Almanac way back in 1732 just to promote his printing business. John Deere launched a farming magazine in 1895. And Michelin, they created a free travel guide in 1900 for one simple reason, to get people to drive more and buy more tires. Content has always been king. Fast forward to the digital era. By 2013, a Forbes study showed a staggering 93% of brands realized they had to become media publishers themselves. 93%! The internet basically forced virtually every corporation to adopt content marketing just to stay relevant.
Which brings us to Section 3, content strategy for brands. With almost every company on Earth pumping out content, how do brands navigate this incredibly crowded ecosystem today?
Well, psychologists like Jacques Lacan talk about something called mirror theory, basically the moment we become self-aware. If you think of PGC as a pre-mirror state, audiences just consume without seeing themselves in the work. But UGC, that acts as a mirror. Suddenly, the user discovers their own active voice. They interact, they comment, they create. Successful brands today absolutely must understand how to navigate both of these psychological states to keep us engaged. To measure the success of balancing those psychological states, brands rely on these specific metrics. And it's not just about views anymore. They're looking at brand health through sentiment analysis, they're tracking direct sales through conversion funnels, and, this is brilliant, they use innovation metrics. They literally monitor social commentary to spot trends and generate ideas for brand new products.
Think about how you read online. Research shows 79% of users, and yeah, that probably includes you and me, merely scan web content rather than reading it closely. Because of this, digital copy must be highly searchable. It has to utilize strong keywords, bold headings, and incredibly clear formatting. You simply cannot write for the web the way you write for traditional print media.
Now, for startups, this landscape is especially tricky, mostly because of limited budgets. The most effective strategy here isn't choosing between user-generated content and professionally generated content. It's layering them. You use UGC and influencers to build maximum relatability, authenticity, and top-of-funnel trust. Then use your PGC to firmly establish your core brand values and professional tone. A hybrid approach is really the only sustainable way to win.
Moving on to Section 4,
the creator monetization playbook. Let's pivot away from the brands for a second and look at the individuals who are actually powering this UGC revolution. How exactly are these creators making money? When you peel back the curtain, creators generally rely on these 4 core monetization routes. They earn through ads based on traffic, they charge recurring subscriptions for premium content, they build gated memberships for deep community access, and they sell direct courses or digital products. The smartest creators out there, they combine these to balance their massive scale with real financial stability. But this creates the ultimate creator's dilemma. On one hand, advertising offers massive scale and broad reach, but it comes at the cost of stability. You're basically at the mercy of algorithms and fluctuating ad rates. On the other hand, subscriptions offer beautiful predictability and direct relationships, but they demand immense, ongoing loyalty from a very specific niche of fans. It's a seriously tough balancing act. Section 5. When UGC meets TV. So what happens when a massively successful creator, someone who has totally mastered this online balancing act, tries to jump into the traditional, highly produced PGC world of television? To answer this, we can look at some fascinating research from a master's thesis at Drexel University. They conducted a comparative case study on this exact phenomenon, YouTubers bringing their content to traditional TV. The study analyzed 4 major YouTubers who crossed over to television and streaming platforms: Lucas Cruikshank, Grace Helbig, Colleen Bollinger, and Lily Singh. The findings were pretty revealing. Professional networks absolutely gain initial value from the creator's built-in audience, for sure. However, the study found that you cannot predict a show's success just based on the content genre. Simply porting internet fame to a television screen, it's not a guaranteed recipe for long-term TV success. But there is a hidden cost to this traditional success for digital natives. The research showed that the established social media presence of these creators is directly impacted by their television work. And the numbers show a massive drop. Creators who achieve higher network success actually see a really significant drop in their core YouTube and Instagram activity. Because making TV takes so much time and effort, their digital engagement plummeted. They literally traded their online vitality for traditional media success. It's a fascinating trade-off, isn't it? And right as creators are figuring out how to navigate this blur between UGC and traditional TV, the entire ecosystem is being disrupted all over again. AI-generated content is bringing incredible, world-changing efficiency to content production, but it also drags along immense challenges. We're talking copyright issues, intellectual property debates, and fundamental questions about what it even means to be a creator. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. I want to leave you with this final thought. As AI democratizes professional-level quality, giving every single user the power of a Hollywood studio right on their laptop, will it ultimately merge the worlds of PGC and UGC so completely that the distinction no longer matters? What will the future of media truly look like when the algorithm is both the creator and the distributor? Think about it. Thanks for watching, and keep questioning the content you consume.